Hey everybody, welcome to Big Boys Toys Productions. I'm James. My beautiful wife Karis is on the camera today. We've got a special treat. We're going to go drive a couple of Ferraris with Ferrari of Austin. It's been since 2019 that I last did this, and I drove the Portofino then. This time we're going to drive the Roma for sure, and they're supposed to have me hooked up with the new Portofino M. So we will see how it goes. So let's do this. These are really beautiful cars. This is the first time I've looked at a Roma in person, and man, I tell you what, it's gorgeous. And interestingly, it looks a whole lot like a 928. So amazing and shocking that I would find it very attractive. It's a beautiful car. So when I slowed down, it's like we need to catch that next gear quick.
Yeah, because we may be entering a corner or something.
Oh, that's fun. How sweet. The Portofino did not have that in
It may now.
it. The M might.
Yeah, from what I read, there's a lot of...
Oh, and it's clicked back into a sedate mode now. That's very cool. Very quickly adaptive. Is this the turnaround?
Yeah, it'll be up here on the right.
Left?
Nope, on the right.
Oh, it's on the right. Oh. I don't think I've ever taken that before.
It's like a boat loading dock kind of...
Oh, yeah, okay. I know where you're talking about.
There's
I've
no
never gone down
it's
it.
just really convenient.
Yeah.
Assuming there's not a boat blocking it, but that was only one time this morning, so we should be good.
Today are so fast and amazing. Technology has really just made them incredible vehicles.
Yeah, and some say numb, and in some ways it can be, but
I get that.
There's a segment that you can still buy that's really fun to drive.
Speed in this car?
Yeah. I'd rip it right here.
Yep. That was a pretty good pickup for 6th gear. Now it's like, oh, you wanted to go fast there. Sorry.
Yeah.
I should have hit the downshift paddle. When you hit the downshift paddle in auto mode, does it kick into manual mode briefly then?
Yeah, just like
Okay.
most twin disc.
Yeah.
They're thinking, okay, you want to take it over for a while.
Right,
Then
for a
there's
second.
like a range at which it'll take it back.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It won't let the car redline, all that stuff. Hit the red
Will
line.
it just hold it there though instead of shifting it?
It depends. I think, I don't know,
We have
because
to
I didn't
try that.
I didn't do the Ferrari programming, but like on the Porsche, the PDK, probably very similar. It's like the more inputs it's getting that tells it it's in a track situation, the more aggressive it's going to naturally try to hold the gear.
Right.
And I think the Ferrari tuning is probably very similar. You noticed you went deep in the throttle this way, and then you went hard on the brake, and it immediately was like, and I think that's just good racing dynamic programming.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're at 8 now. Look at that, 8, then we're turning 1,200 RPMs. That's crazy. That's how they get mileage out of these cars. Decent gas mileage for cafe standards.
Yeah, that, and then they do, I don't know about this car, but, there's all the cylinder deactivation go on short trips because they had stuff to do. Other people wanted to cruise it down.
I want to drive all day. How's that?
Yeah, but it's someone else's car. We're in the same boat.
That's what I'm saying.
When I take my car in for service and they give me like usually a Cayenne, I literally drive that thing everywhere. Like, it's a free car.
Yeah, exactly. Man, oh man, that's fifth gear. So nice.
What I really like is how comfortable this car is and how performant it is. It's not loaded with compromises.
Right.
Like a lot of the supercar families are. You know, it's actually an enjoyable car to drive.
Yeah, I suspect when you get up into the 488s and the SF90s and stuff like that, I suspect those are a little bit more compromised. The firm, there's almost no place to put stuff, etc.
I guess as well. I've been in the SF90 a little bit. A friend owns one, and then of course I did a track day with them with Ferrari.
Oh, nice.
Where I was instructing in them all day, and it's more purpose built, right?
Yeah.
Where the purpose of this car is to be beautiful, performant, and
Comfortable.
and comfortable. Yeah, like a true touring car.
So it's staying in manual mode, so I wonder if it
So
wants me to
I think if we just
click,
yeah, you can just
click
pop
up
that
the
on,
auto,
that'll
that'll
do
kick
it
it
for
back
us.
to auto.
Yeah, it says auto now. So
Yeah.
good. I like the Alcantara
It looks beautiful
option.
in this
You can do
car.
this in leather, but for me, the acoustical deadening that you get with Alcantara is always a real plus.
Yes, yes. It's the leather is just a little reflective.
Right. So your sound system will sound, I think, probably
bright.
a little better in here with this, and then your conversations sound a little more comfortable, in my opinion.
I agree.
Softer.
The one thing that I love that McLaren has done, and I don't think anybody else has done it, is their paddles. Either paddle can go up or down because you can pull forward or push back.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so for me, since I have one hand on the wheel, I can up and down from this paddle,
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
which is why I was asking about if I kick it down, will it then kick back to auto mode?
Here's your exit.
Oh, sorry. That guy's on me.
Sorry, we'll take the next one.
Sorry about that. Not my stomping grounds. I'm a North Austin guy.
Let's work to the left so we can just take the next
Okay.
whatever we get.
Yeah.
U-turn. Whatever allows a U-turn safely. What area of town do you guys stay?
We're in the Round Rock area.
Okay. I'm in Cedar Park.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So my way over here is 2222 Buck Hollow. then
Fun. You
back
did
to-
all the fun roads over.
Yes, we're like 1431 and 183As.
04.
304, yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
304, yeah.
so him and I are really good friends within the same area, and we were driving around Breakaway during COVID at night, just bored because our families were asleep, and we were just kind of just hanging out. And peak COVID, so like just only hung out with people you knew that weren't.
Yeah,
going
sure,
anywhere.
absolutely.
And he was telling me all about that house. So I think I've seen your old house.
I'm sure you've been by it at least once. It was really
The only
fun.
one with a 6-car garage.
It was the only
so.
6-car garage in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of white stonework, right?
It was all white stonework, which was incredibly expensive and just beautiful. And the guy who bought it from me redid the house, and he pulled half of all of the stone off of the house to replace it with
They
stucco.
don't have anything to do, and they're bored. It's really annoying. So we're thinking about selling soon to buy somewhere without an HOA, or a very established neighborhood with an HOA that does stuff like.
So out in the backyard this afternoon, I thought I'd finish up the Roma video and talk a little bit about my experience in it. the first experience is that it wasn't enough drive time. It was about 10 minutes of driving in a fair bit of traffic, actually, on a fairly straight road, and then back and forth into and out of the neighborhood where the little show was taking place, or the drive was starting from and ending. And so it wasn't enough drive time. What I found was it might have been the positioning of my hand control on the accelerator pedal, but it was really hard for me to push the accelerator pedal. Again, I think that's probably more how I had the hand control connected to it, but I can't be sure of that. The other thing that I didn't care for, and we're seeing this more and more in cars today, is a taller center console. And so what that means is that my knee is closer. My knees can't be as far apart as they normally are. So the accelerator pedal is being pushed a little more to the left than I would normally like it, or would see it in older cars, like any of my older cars, really. And the first place I noticed this was in a Carrera GT. Never drove a Carrera GT, obviously, because they had only a manual transmission. So I couldn't drive them anyway. But I noticed that, and I thought about how that would affect my ability to drive the car should I be able to drive one with an automatic transmission. I thought that'd make it difficult. Sure enough, that trend continued in the 718 Boxster Spyder that I drove a couple of years ago. That had the same kind of deal. The center console was a little taller, and so it was more difficult to drive. This car is even worse from that perspective. Interestingly, that doesn't follow suit in the Portofino. So the Portofino doesn't have that problem. Otherwise, the Roma was amazing. It's exceptionally well built. It's well finished. It's beautiful. It had 3 great screens in it. It had the main screen right in front of the driver where you have the tach and the speedo and all of that stuff. And then had the infotainment screen that's a vertically oriented screen, kind of like in the McLarens now. I think they were kind of the first one to do that, actually. That looks good. And then this one came with the optional screen in front of the passenger, so they could dial in, you know, infotainment type stuff, or they could look at performance numbers for the car, like I think rev counter and speedometer. And I think it also allowed them to connect to media, like make a phone call or whatever. So that was pretty cool. Very expensive option. I think it's like $5,000. So anyway, great car. If I could afford it, I would love to have one, but I wouldn't buy one because it would just be a little too difficult for me to drive on a regular basis. Also, as my wife Karis found out when she was filming, the Portofino actually had more room in the back seat than the Roma did, or more headroom in the back seat than the Roma did. So in all, a great car, looks fantastic. Drive is fast, 620 horsepower. It is wickedly fast. 8-speed transmission that shifts really nicely. Great car, just very expensive, and not quite suitable for somebody in a wheelchair probably, but I guess you could put in some different type of hand controls if you wanted to, and some of the MPS like I've used in the past in my company cars, and those would probably work just fine. But anyway, great car. Really glad that I got the opportunity to check one out and drive it, and thanks to Ferrari of Austin for inviting me to it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, comment, and share below, and we'll talk to you next time.